Hey Retro fans, welcome to another episode of Retro Gaming Memories. In this episode we're going to try something different. I have a Neo Geo CD, a behemoth of a console, Neo Geo CD console. Now we've had a look at this in previous videos. It's a cracking machine. I've had it for quite some time, but it's Japanese. So obviously, I was going to say pretty much everything is in Japanese. There are some exceptions. Let me just put it down here. So all the menus and everything are in Japanese. A lot of the games are in Japanese, Japanese text, although there's some that are English. A lot of the menus are in English, bizarrely. So there's this real kind of mix between English and Japanese. However, from what I've seen, it's a fairly simple mod to change the language on the Neo Geo CD. There's a set of 4 jumpers, we'll have a look in a minute, but there's a set of 4 jumpers that you set to configure your language preference. So I'm not entirely sure what happens if you put a Japanese game in with the English language set. Whether it all converts or whether some of the screens, like the title screens and things, are still in Japanese, I'm not sure. We will find out though, because I've recorded some footage which I'll put in kind of here somewhere. You'll see what I'm talking about. When the Neo Geo boots up, you'll see that the kind of menu comes up. I think it says something like "please wait a moment" while it's reading the disc. It does that. That's in Japanese. When the game boots up, it's Super Sidekicks 3 that I've put in, and when it boots up, it's all in Japanese. So I don't know what's happening. It's a football game, but I've no idea what the kind of menu options are. So what we're going to do is do the mod, change the jumpers, and do the mod, and then put the same game in, and do the whole boot sequence again, and see what happens. Basically, see if it all converts to English, or if it stays in Japanese, or what happens. I'm not sure. So we'll give it a go. I know it does convert some things. If the disc is dual language, it will convert it, but I don't know if it's a purely Japanese game what it'll do. But we'll give it a go and see. At the end of the day, there's nothing to lose unless I completely destroy the console. Hopefully that won't happen. Like I say, it's a very simple one little jumper that you solder a couple of wires into. So we'll give it a go and see how we get on. And so let's get stuck in. Let's do it. Okay, so we've got the Neo Geo set upside down. I've just put this little microfiber cloth down just to protect it. There's 4 screws that we need to take out. So let's go ahead and do that. Four screws. Put them away for safety. So turn the unit over. It should just lift away now. Being very cautious. If I remember correctly, it folds over. So let's see what the camera can see, because I can't remember. Okay, so I thought we'd go handheld for this little bit. So as you can see, I've got the shell taken off. You just lift it carefully over because the laser assembly is connected by that. So that is your laser assembly. I think that's a controller board for the laser. But this bit here is the thing we're interested in. So you take those 4 screws out and the thing comes apart no problem. It's got this kind of Bakelite shield thing, but this board here is what we're interested in. So if we look here, we have this yellow thing up the road. You can see that that's the jumper settings, the country code. Yellow thing, here you come. So you can see Japan, USA, and Europe. So the way I understand it is jumper number. Where are we? It's hard pointing at things. Jumper number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if jumper number 1 is closed with that 0, it means that it will be USA. If you put a jumper on number 2 only, then it'll be Europe. If you leave the other one, so if none of them are in, it's Japanese. So what we need to do is over here, that's where the jumpers actually are. So you can see, hopefully, come on lights out of the road. You can see JN1, JN2, JN3 and JN4. So what we need to do is basically on that one there, JN2, just double check, yep, jumper number 2. JN2, we are going to put a bit of wire between that and that, pointing with my big huge fingers, but you'll see what we're going to do in a minute, and that's all we need to do. There are some resistors, where are they? I can't remember. There are resistors on this board somewhere that also set PAL. It might be on a different region, a different model of board, but they're usually quite well labelled. But yeah, can't see it. But anyway, I've seen mods where you take out or replace resistors. This board looks different to the ones I've seen, but yeah, you can take out resistors or swap them out to make it like PAL region and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm quite happy with it being a sort of NTSC type console. It still plays out fine. All I'm interested in doing is getting the thing to talk to me in English, basically. So I think what I might do is lift this actual board out to see what's underneath, because I want to solder it, obviously, rather than just putting a little bit of wire in. So we'll unscrew this and see what happens. Okay, so I've taken all the screws out. One thing worth noting is the screws that were in these corners are these guys. Those are all the same size as the general console screws, but I also had to take the screws out with the joypad connectors. Those are slightly longer, so don't get them confused if you're doing this. I've also unhooked that yellow cable a little bit just to make things a bit easier. So if we flip the board over, they've actually already got padded solder in here. So that's the jumpers there, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I kind of need to desolder them a little bit, which scares me slightly. So I need to desolder those 2 pad points, put the cable in and then resolder them. So yeah, that's what we're looking at there. So we'll see how it goes. Really, we can only give it a shot, eh? So I'll get the soldering iron set up, put this camera back in the tripod because I can't do everything with one hand, and give it a go. Okay, so we are good to go. I've got the soldering iron set up, and we're going to have a look at this and see what we can do. So let's just double check. So jumper 1 is jumper 2 we want. Jumper 2, yep, so it is from the top here is jumper 1. So that is jumper 1 there. Yep. So jumper 1, jumper 2. So it's this pad here and this pad here that we're going to desolder, put a bit of wire through it and then hopefully solder it back up. So I've got a needle point on my soldering iron to make it as small as possible. I've got it set to about 250 degrees. I don't want it too hot because I want to try and control this. It's hot enough to thing it though, so try and get the hands going. Right, so we've got the solder sucker. So definitely 1, definitely 2. Just double checking this. 1, 2. 1, 2. So it's this guy here. I'm not an expert at soldering by any means, so all I need is enough to be able to get the wee wire through. So right, So I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's tiny little holes. Might try this one again just a little bit. Just to get a little bit more space in it. Oh, there we go. Right. So we've got a tiny little bit of wire. All we're going to do is strip one end of it. There's multi-core, which is not ideal. You really want single core for this, but it'll do. And it's going to just be a tiny bit of cable. So normally I would tin this, which means putting a little bit of solder on it first. So let's try that. Don't want to make it too big to go through the hole though. Right, sorry about that. What I've decided to do is cut myself a longer bit of cable. That other bit was getting too fiddly to try and do. Now I haven't tinned this one because I think the tinning is making it too thick to go through the hole. So what I want to do is, there we go, that went through no problem. I might be on to a winner here, folks. Hopefully. Come on, if you go through there. Oh. Wiring tricks number 120. These things are always just a bit of kind of trial and error. So let's try hole 1 first. Is that going to go through it? Right. Come on. Right, that's flattening out that one of the wires, so we don't want that. Bear with me and I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. Right. Right, we're on to a winner. So, I just twisted the cable and I've put it through manually. And here we go, we've got a nice long bit to try and solder on now. So I don't know if you can see that, but nice long bit to solder in. I haven't tinned it, like I say, because it was making it too wide for the hole. So I'm just going to put the solder on first. Get rid of that dot actually. Right, here we go. Right, I think that's it. I think that's it. So, what I'm going to do though is, because these are really close, let me just get my multimeter and I'll show you. So because this pad, these ones are quite far apart, so these are okay. But because this pad's close to this guy, I'm just going to check that there's no shorts. So obviously we don't want to switch this on and get any magic blue smoke. So I've got my multimeter. Let's do that one. And we're just going to set it to beep. There. So if you get a short, it beeps. So if I put it over the two cables we just put in, it should get a short, which it does, right? So what I want to do is put it on the cable that we just put in and touch the pads round about it. See, so I'm getting a short, so my solder is bridging over there, so I'll need to be careful. and desolder part of that and double check it. So the other pads round about are okay. Why is it getting a short over there? Right, sorry about that folks, I had to pause the video and actually use, there's a magnifier on my phone which zooms in really tight. Because I'm going blind in my old age and need to wear glasses and stuff, I just wanted to double check. And it actually turns out that each of these, you can almost see it a little bit. I'll put in a close-up photograph, but you can see that this is actually these pads. So this guy here, for example, if I do between those two, see that little green bit, that's one trace, so that should short. So the jumper is tied to the resistor. So that's what that is. So this is okay. The fact that there's a short between my new one and this one is fine. But there's no shorts to anything else round about it, which is what we want. So that's good. And there is a short to this guy over here because that's the resistor for there. So yeah, so anyway, I think that's okay. So I'm going to put it all back together now, and yeah, and we'll give it a go. I won't do the putting back together on camera because you've seen me take it apart. There's no really any point in it. I will just be careful and put it back together. I'm going to just trim these actually. That's one thing to do. We don't want them, so I'll just trim that as close to the edge as I can. That's why you want good flat-nosed snips. Anyway, so that is as clean as I can get it. There we go. So I can probably just fold that down a little bit, so it's not getting in the way of anything. That'll be okay. There's nothing anyway. The Neo Geo is quite an empty console, so that's fine. We'll slide that back under there like that. There we go. And yeah, I'll just put this back together now. Usually there's little guides in there, so this should be it. So yeah, I'll put it back together, and then we'll go and have a look. We'll do the boot sequence again and see what happens. So fingers crossed. So here we go then. We're just booting the Neo Geo CD up. Now I will be honest, the first couple of times I did this, it rebooted itself and there were video issues, so I don't know what was going on. But third time lucky, and as you can see it says wait a moment, or wait for a moment. So that menu used to be in Japanese. So it's read to disk, which is Super Sidekicks 3. Now I have chopped out the loading times and things like that, but as you can see it's all in English. These menus were all in Japanese before, so the mod has worked, and that's it. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.